Okay. We talk of the carbon atoms. The carbon atoms or the carbon lump that you are talking about, this actually came from living. We have not seen any carbon atom coming from source other than living. So, then the question is, when the first carbon atom was organized in the first place, when was it? Or was it?
It is known.
Yeah. Where?
It is within a sun.
Sun.
An ordinary sun, not a giant sun, but
Right.
a normal
Like
sun.
our sun.
It is producing carbon at the end of its life.
Right.
There's a mystery here as well, because if you look at the kind of amount of carbon and other carbon elements, then that's not really consistent with the age of the universe as we think we know it. In fact, the universe should be, if you look at the rate at which these things are produced, the universe should be far, far older than 14 billion years. So there's an interesting mystery here too, but indeed it comes from the first point in the nuclear cycle. Where that energy comes from in the first place, of course, is an even more
You see?
interesting question.
You see? And once you start thinking of energy, you have to start thinking also including the one who will play with the energy. Because if you go that far back to just see everything, just the energy and nothing, then you have to also see the one who will play with the energy. Because for anything to change in energy, there has to be a second faculty in it. Otherwise, how will it start changing?
It doesn't. It needs to have the receptive part.
Yeah. Otherwise, it will become unscientific to think like that. You see? So, this is very intelligent design. It goes back to something and starts touching the very fundamental which has been missed out or which has been kept from studying maybe for a certain reason for some time, but now is the time because here we have got almost complete plan. We have studied all natures, all kinds of elements and all kinds of atoms and their isotopes and all variants and possibilities. We have seen complete thorough study we have done here, but this side if we do not start also including, then perhaps we are going nowhere or we will be stuck. So, I met Firjaf Kapra when I read his book first time, the Tao of Physics, and I met him in 1985. First I read his book 1984, and then through many passages I had some things to tell to him, and I wanted, okay, I will find him where to write to him. And I was in England, London, and somebody passed me one flyer in collective meditation. Dada, please, have you seen this? I said, no. Then I saw that 3 days later there was a conference in Amsterdam, the conference of peace. That was 1985 by the Green Party here. So I cut my program short and I went to Amsterdam to meet him, and that was 1985. So we discussed over lunch many things, and then he said who I was. He wanted to know. I was not like this. I was just like civil normal dress. And then that time we did not have Microvita concept yet, because Microvita concept came 1986 and this was happening 1985. So I had some books like Idea and Ideology, Human Society and Ananda Sutram. So I gave him the 3 books. And then he said that please come, when you come to US, come and sit, we talk more. And because in that book it said that the physics has gone to a dead end, and the physicists have decided that if one step more and the physics becomes a metaphysics, it starts becoming metaphysics. So they have decided not to take that one step, because we will lose our identity. So we play our tennis in our own court.
I read the book.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of the reasons that I am
Yeah. So I told him that, look, anyway it's not going to happen, that you cannot take that one more step. We have to be brave enough to take one more step and see what comes, and again reorganize things in that context. How
Actually, he was absolutely right. What you need to do is take 3 steps backward, turn left, and then take a step. He was right.
Yeah. So so that's how. So the thing is that we have to start reorganizing the knowledge of the world, and more comprehensive and a bigger view of the world, and more complete view of the world, where everything is included. So we need a science of everything in one.
Can I say
So, the point that we were studying and discussing is that the microvita, they do what? They operate in the world of matter and they operate in the world of protoplasmic life. When they operate in the world of crude matter, again they create a kind of material propensities there. Like suppose you have different elementary atoms, they have their own personalities, their own characters, their own affinity groups. They do not interact with anyone and everyone, no, they choose, and for that they have their own physical body, their orbitals, the orbits are there, electrons are there, the electrons are their own appendixes, their organs to relate to others, on their body, you see. And the one orbit has one kind of energy, another orbit has another kind of energy. So, the electrons of this has got this kind of energy, and electrons of this another layer has this kind of energy to relate with, and it can dig into more deeper into the other atoms and can take out the energy from there and share the energy at that level. If you start reading them as conscious entities, you will discover that they are as complex as we are actually, but we have dubbed them as non-living. So, we say that they are non-living. No, they are living. So, we can say that the two forms of life, one is non-protoplasmic, and one is protoplasmic. And very startling is the revelation from Baba is that there is one law at work in the universe, and only one law is keeping the world universe moving, and that law is that desires are being expressed, and there is only one way to express the desires. The desires are expressed by the law of increasing or decreasing the distances between the other party. This is what we are doing, and this is what atoms are doing. We are going close to something when we like it, we are getting away from it when we do not like it, and this is what we are doing, nothing more we are doing. We may be getting drawn to some physical object, we may be getting drawn to some physical human being, or we may be getting drawn to some psychological object or the psychological beings or the spiritual activity, but we are drawn. So, we are contracting the space between the second entity or the third entity included, or we are getting away from it. This is what we are doing all our lives. Why we came here? There was something which was attracting all of us, and we wanted to decrease that space, and we are sitting here together. Then there will be something which will occupy our mind and will draw our mind and body there closer to something else. But this is the same thing that atoms are doing. They are coming close or getting away, and molecules are formed, or different collective living communities are formed at their level, at their scale. So, the whole universe is actually only pulsating. This is what is going on in time and in space. This is what we are doing. So, and the kind of energy which is produced through this, or which is used in this, is felt in the human mind as propensity, or in the atomic life, in the atoms, in the life, in the body of an atom. This is electromagnetic force, weak and strong nuclear forces, gravitational forces in the world. This is what we name them that way, and we name ourselves in this way. But actually one is a very small scale and one is the largest scale that we have in our life. So, this is how there is an interplay of the subjective and the objective, and the subjective comes in the packets of small lives, and that's what we call microvita. If living is to be defined as conscious entities, because there is to be a time that living means you should be able to consume oxygen. The car is also consuming oxygen. So, car is also living? No. Okay. So, now the definition of life, if you say the definition of life, if you try to refine the definition of life, you may end up saying that living means being conscious. And if that is the bottom line of living, then everything is conscious. Atoms are conscious. So, they are also living. Thus it comes, the statement, things that feel are made of things that feel. Atoms also feel, they are living. So, they are living because if you imagine the situation, this much of space has got 20 billion of microvita in this energy field. Now, if you compress this space and this space becomes this much, then the 20 billion are supposed to be trapped in this space, contracted space. How they are arranged or organized themselves, again some natural law should work there, but there are 20 billions here in this tiny space of an atom. But before they became the atom, the space which is trapped in this atom was not only this much, it was so big before it finally codified into this. Through Big Bang or whatever, I am not going to name that now. But yes, something has happened that the space got trapped in that tiny area, and that is now the atom. And in that atom, once we used to think that this is the ultimate and this is the last, it cannot be divided anymore, atoms. But now we know that 90% of the place there is empty space inside. And inside there are so many, more than 200 already, subatomic particles are working there at work. Nobody is sitting, they are just very busy inside. So, it is not, the movement means living. So, they are also living. So, microcosms and microcosms, world inside the world and world outside the world is such a nice, setting, and everything is organized and adjusted. How everything is in equilibrium and equipoise being maintained? Microvita, the conscious link is communicating and keeping things adjusted. There is a conscious link guiding the energy, giving the energy the plan to behave like, and they are all adjusted with each other. And this is where I will now finish, and we can continue discussing the topic later. Even after the programs, we can, through the discussion groups, we can discuss that.